morning, my beautiful budding bakers. So sorry for the delay this morning. I'm going to blame my beautiful, nearly 21-year-old who came down for a cup of tea before she has her exams. So she's got exams tomorrow and forgot all about my Facebook, my show, lads, my show. So without further ado, I am going to take the delicious chocolates out of the fridge because I've lost my train of thought and I shall get them out of the fridge. While you're waiting, we're going to play elevator music in the background and look at Vera's dried fruit. 2 minutes. Ta-da! Zappy doodle, that's the elevator music. Here we go. Doo-doo-doo-dum-bum. What do I like? Lads, these are the simplest, the easiest, the most scrumdiddlyumptious chocolates you can even think of. And they're so easy. They're so easy. Why are they so easy? They are ridiculously easy and they're brilliant for kids to do. So, I am using my favourite Irish producer of all time, Vera. I love you and I love your dried fruits. We are using the most amazing dried raspberries. I have run out of the passion fruit because I have eaten it all. So I will certainly be ordering Vera's.com, VeraChocolate.com, VeraMiklas.com. Vera, you can put the post up and put your link up, please. If you're watching, put the link up for your amazing dried fruits. She also has fantastic chocolate. She has, the chocolate I'm using today is Callebaut. So Vera has that in stock. So has Peter, my amazing Peter Dunn in BakeWorld, also has Callebaut. And I'm also using the most divine, delicious, delectable Callebaut cocoa powder. Now this seems an awful lot, as in weight-wise, but when you actually work out the cost of this, works out, I think it's about maybe €13 for a kilogram. This is where, looking at all your cheap cocoa powders out there, this is the one to use. It's absolutely divine, gorgeous in baking, but it really gives a fantastic punch with your chocolate. Now, we are starting with so many ingredients, not. We have 150 mils of cream. I'm going to put that into the microwave while I'm chatting for about a minute. I don't want it to come to bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. I want it to come where it's like, ow, that's hot. Children at home, don't stick your finger into the cream. You'll know by the outside of the container. Your parents can check for the heat. And here I have got 200 or even 220 grams of my chocolate. Now, I love to use the dark chocolate just in this particular case because the chocolate truffles, I want to have that decadence, that real fruity bitterness with the dark chocolate. By all means, if you want to use milk chocolate, you can use milk chocolate. But if you're going to use white chocolate, the ratio of white chocolate is normally 3:1. So if you're using, for example, 300 grams of chocolate, you would use, oh, I sounded very posh there, 100 grams or 100 mils of your double cream. Now, the white chocolate does not like to be disturbed, okay? It's a bit like a grizzly bear. So when you are melting your, when you are heating your cream, pour it in, the same technique we're going to do here. You pour it in and you leave it for about 30 seconds before you stir. So double check. No, not quite. I'm going to give it another 20 seconds. You're going to have 20 seconds of me nattering on, blah, 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 blah. Now, another thing I'm going to show you as well is because I'm going to be using this Connoisseur Gold. It's gold leaf. Now, it is expensive because it's gold. And I got this from Stuff for Cakes from Audrey. So stuffforcakes.com, another Irish supplier. She's amazing. Check out her website. And this is absolutely beautiful edible gold leaf. We're going fierce posh today, lads, okay? Gold leaf, beautiful Belgian chocolate, chocolate. And I have got, now it is quite hot, I can feel it, but it's not bubble, it's not boiling. And in goes my cream. So it is like chocolate soup. You can see the steam rising up over my chocolate, which is fabulous because that's going to melt a treat. Grab a spoon or a fork. Oh look, live Facebook. Have you got a crack in your container? I certainly have. So good job. I put it onto a tray. So I'm just going to give this a stir, stir. Oh my God, lads. This is divine. Now, another Trisha's tips. If you want to enhance the flavour of this chocolate by introducing a liqueur, this is the stage you would add your liqueur. So add a tablespoon of brandy, it could be Cointreau, whatever tickles your fancy, and in that goes. Another Trisha's tip, if you want to incorporate, like in white chocolate, it's beautiful, where you have orange and thyme, this is where I would infuse the cream. So I would literally have orange zest and I would use a sprig of thyme. Now I would actually put it into the cream, because you're not going to put it into the chocolate, you're going to actually sieve that through the chocolate. But you'll steep that overnight, so all the flavours of your orange and thyme are in your cream. And it is absolutely delicious. So if you want to zoom in there, Lucy Lou, we have got Lucy at the helm this morning. So I have got my 21-year-old nearly upstairs studying and stealing the limelight with her kettle brewing, and now I have Lucy up and at it, giving me a helping hand. Look at the shine. Now, one thing I am going to add, you don't have to, you can add a teaspoon of butter if you want to have a shine, and a shine on a chocolate tart, or I'm also putting in a squidge of golden syrup, about half a tablespoon. And again, I just want to have, that will actually, when you add the golden syrup, not only will you get a shine if it's for a tart, but you get that ever so slight chewiness with your truffle. Now, can you see, there is no way we could make a delicious chocolate truffle with our chocolate soup. So this is where this will go into the fridge, and once it goes into the fridge, you will need to chill this for at least 4 hours. Now, the other thing to bear in mind, just with regards to your health and safety and food regulations, when you obviously have warm chocolate in a warm container, you're not going to put that into the fridge, because that'll drop the temperature of your fridge and it can spoil food. And you can end up with deli belly, and that's the last thing you want with other food that's in the fridge. So you need to have this cold before you do put it into the fridge. It will take about 4, if not 6 hours to set to that lovely squidgy, fudgy deliciousness. And I just so happened to have some ganache that I had prepared earlier, and you'll see how firm it goes, because you basically have your spoon standing up in the chocolate. Now, one thing to bear in mind, this is now ready to pour on ice cream. Lads, you could pour it on your cornflakes for breakfast, because you can if you're an adult. Kids, ignore that last remark. But you've got this beautiful chocolate ganache. Now, before we do anything, I made little chocolate tarts, and I'm going to move stuff out of the way, because this is the type of recipe that is so versatile. Don't just think you can make truffles. You have got short crust pastry. So this short crust pastry is basically my standard short crust pastry, and there's 15 grams of cocoa powder added to the pastry, and I've made little tarts. With that, after we've just made the ganache, I am pouring that, oh lads, into my chocolate tart. And I'm going to let that set at room temp. If you let it set at room temp, you'll end up with that lovely shine. If you put it into the fridge, it can go slightly matte. And I'm just going to give it another little dribble. So this, I'm going to leave cool. So our ganache already is working. We have just filled 2 little chocolate tarts. So all I did was I made short crust pastry. We've done that in our lemon meringue pie and our chocolate tarts and everything else. I'll still put the recipe up so that you can see in relation to this particular recipe, all you're doing is you're adding 15 grams of cocoa powder, and it's the same method applies. So we've got these 2 beautiful chocolate tarts. The reason I have done chocolate tarts, because it's Valentine's week, approaching Valentine's. Are you ever in a restaurant with your delicious husband, partner, whoever you are with, and you say, no, I couldn't possibly have a dessert. Couldn't possibly have a dessert. No. No, no, I'm okay, I'm okay. And what you do? Out comes something like that, and what you say? Oh, hello. Oh, hello, I'm just going to take some. I'm just going to take a little fork of my dessert, which drives my husband insane, because I keep saying, no, I don't need a dessert. Out will come a dessert. It could be a banoffee pie, whatever the case may be, and I'll dive in. These individual tarts for Valentine mean you've got your very own tart. You can just decide that I've put little miniature bars, and I have dressed it with a little bit of strawberry, and of course I have used the Connoisseur Gold Leaf, and I've just put it on some fresh fruit. I've put some fresh fruit into the tart to balance out and give us some vitamin C on top of that delicious magnesium that we need in dark chocolate. So I'm going to put that to the side and leave that set. And we're back to our beautiful ganache making. So we have made our ganache. And I'm just going to use a teaspoon. Now, another trick. Another tip. Your hands need to be cold. When your hands are cold, it'll make it much easier to roll into balls. These truffles work out roughly, if you're talking about a teaspoon of ganache, about 15 grams. So in goes my little teaspoon. And I'm just going to take a little splodge, and I'm going to put on a greaseproof. Now, the reason I'm putting it on the greaseproof, I'm just going to leave it set for a minute or two, because then what I'm doing is I'm almost creating it like an air dry truffle sitting on top of my greaseproof paper. The reason I'm doing that is that, first of all, I want to get a few mounds ready so that my hands can work quickly. Whereas if I start rolling now, my hands will be sticky within 30 seconds, and for every second truffle I will make, I will have to stop and wash my hands because they will be so sticky. Now, we have got on that tray, or on that plate, you will see, we have got the most divine, vibrant raspberry rolled truffle, and that's using Vera's delicious freeze-dried raspberries. We have got next to it a dark chocolate truffle, which has been dipped in chocolate. And next to that, we have got rolled passion fruit, dried passion fruit. That again from Vera. And then we have white chocolate, and we have nibbed nuts. And this is how you start your ganache. So leave the spooning. So we've got our spoon stuck. I'm not going to use as much in relation to the truffles because it'll be here all day. All day. So I have got my truffle mix on my little tray. Now I'm going to wash my hands. Ta-da-ta-da! Look at the chocolate while I'm washing my hands. And while I'm washing my hands and while we're creating our truffles, I'm going to put 100 grams of chocolate into the microwave to melt. And this is for dipping. So while I'm chatting, at least I could be doing something productive. So that is on. And we're going to do our raspberry. Now this one I absolutely adore. Now the other thing I will do is my greaseproof prepared parchment paper rather. Parchment is fab when it's ready and finished and your truffle. So, lads, check, cold hands, fantastic. Into my hand, and all I'm going to do is roll. Now, that is your one truffle. You could leave it as is. One little tip, I have got cocoa powder in a sugar shaker, and if you actually shake your hands almost like dusting powder, when you're picking up your truffle, it won't stick. Now I'm only very gently coating that with a tiny bit of cocoa powder. And on we go. As you can see, it's a lovely, messy job. Kids are going to love this. So all I'm doing is I'm rolling. The reason also it's 15 grams, and I do weigh them normally, but after a while you'll know the weight, is because these are going to be coated in chocolate, they're going to be coated in either nuts or raspberries, so they'll actually grow in size. So if you start off with a large truffle, the problem is by the time you coat it with your raspberry or your cocoa powder or your nibs, it'll be a golf ball and it could take you hours to eat. Although that could be good too. So again, I've lined up 6. Hands need a wash. Down on the plate for some elevator music while I wash my hands. Now I am washing my hands with cold water because again what I don't want is I don't want my hands getting hot. So another little trick, if you get small containers, you'll either get, now these ones are for, I got them in Musgraves, and you get them for like ketchup and mayo, and there's a little lid with them. But what I've done is I'll use them almost like the maracas, and I will grab my truffle. This is why it's great for kids. And you match up the seams, and then, so there's no handling. And you have got a divine, beautiful. So we'll do that again. We'll do that again. So I have got, and actually to show you, Vera's amazing smell from these. And I'll shut up for a minute because you will not believe the crunch. Listen, lads, listen. Can you hear that? It's like a... So that dried fruit is so crunchy because you must seal the bag. Crunch, 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 crunch. You get this burst of raspberry, this punch. It's delicious. You can even incorporate and blend that even into the ganache. I love it on the outside because you really get a taste for the raspberry. Again, lid on, make sure they're matched up. And we have got, oh lads, I'm telling you now, truffle. And what do? The same applies with our cocoa. So I have got my cocoa powder, and in that goes, and the chicka chicka da 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 da, and we have got our little, and this is why it's important to use good cocoa powder. If you use delicious cocoa powder, it will reflect on the taste of your truffles. So we're checking our microwave for our melted chocolate. Probably needs another minute. Another minute. Ba-ba-ba-ba-dum. So we have our raspberries using our amazing Vera's. We have the cocoa powder. Again, that's using our Callebaut cocoa powder. We've our dipping of our chocolate in a minute, and we've also got our nuts. So again, in with the nuts. Now this time, what I'm doing is I'm just pushing the nuts in to the truffle. There's no point in putting that in a da-da-da-da-da-da-da maraca style because they won't really stick. So all I'm doing is I have that little mound and I'm just pressing it. And then once I think it's relatively coated, onto my hand, and I'll give it a roll. As I'm giving it a roll, what's that is doing? It's pressing those nibs of mixed nuts. The mixed nuts are hazelnuts, they're macadamia nuts, and chopped almonds. And you've got your beautiful chocolate truffle. So there we have our nut one. Now remember the last time when we were doing chocolate work around Halloween, it's just important that when you're melting chocolate, the residual heat of your container will continue to melt your chocolate. So I'm giving that a stir, 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 because you might think, looking at it, that it needs another 10 seconds, but hold tight. As I said, I can feel a little warmth, not too hot, just a little residual heat. And I'm giving a stir, 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 stir. And a trick, dip your finger into the chocolate and bring it to your bottom lip, and it should be not even warm, just under the blood temperature, body temperature. But it is absolutely, so the consistency, can you see if the chocolate is very much like a golden syrup? It's not milky. If it's milky, you've overworked your chocolate. We want to have a gorgeous shine to this chocolate. So by introducing chocolate nuked in a microwave, I find I have more control over the heat. The tempering of chocolate is controlling the heat to make sure that our crystals join together in the chocolate for one happy family. And see, look, we're nearly there. So I have not put this into the microwave again. You have little nibs. The minute you see little nibs left in your chocolate, stop, because that's where a lot of people make the mistake and they go back to the microwave or they go back to the bowl and they continue to heat the chocolate, and then it is just too hot. And if it's too hot, you'll end up with a white bloom on your chocolate. But you can feed it with another tiny bit of chocolate nibs and adding it to your warm chocolate, and that should drop your temperature. All this gobbledygook over chocolate, lads, who cares? Just shove it into the gob. Now, can you see the consistency is quite thick, and that's what we're looking for. Now I have my little gadget, which is a chocolate dipping fork, spoon, gadget, couldn't tell you what it's called. So in I plop my chocolate, and I'm going to tap, 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 tap. I am tapping the excess chocolate. I mean, honestly, when you look at those chocolates, you could get those chocolates anywhere in those beautiful couture chocolate shops on the high street. Yes, yours will be delicious because they are homemade. Boom, 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 and plop, off it goes. Now, even at that stage, get Vera's sprinkled and just put it straight on top. And look at that, the chocolate is so tempered. It is setting with an instant. Get another one. In plop. Plop, 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 plop. Tap, tap, tap. So there you have your... Now you could use a fork. So if you want to use a fork, sometimes I find it sticks on the fork, but listen, it sticks on this too. And then just invert it and give it a hiya with the Miss Piggy plop. And I love when you can have the sort of, you know, rough and ready shape to it. We leave that one, so we're going to put on some gold leaf. Now, with these ones, with the white chocolate, I haven't made white chocolate because I've just used it up. So with the white chocolate, I've put together a recipe, and this is going to be a weird one for you. Sour cream. So this is a sour cream white chocolate ganache, and with this, it is gorgeous because the sour cream is very tart against the real Milky Bar Kid white chocolate. So the recipe for that same applies. You're going to melt your white chocolate just before you have a few little nibs left, and then for 10 seconds you're going to slightly warm the sour cream. You're going to combine the two together. I'll give you the quantities in the recipe, and again it goes that beautiful smooth paste just like your ganache, and that goes into the fridge to set, and you use that exactly the same as your white chocolate. So the white chocolate sour cream ganache is absolutely divine. It's delicious for wedding cakes, in the center of wedding cakes as well. So again, we're going to roll with it, rolling, rolling, rolling. Now, the list of this is endless. You could dip these and roll them into coconut, into praline, into roasted hazelnuts. And again, all I'm doing, now you can see that my hands are getting hot. Hot diggity dog. Oh, look. Plop. I'm continuing on. And I'm rolling with my hand. And then I'm going to manipulate. Up. Up. Now, I've also tried this with gloves. I find with the gloves that I can be doing a chocolate truffle and it shoots across the room. So as your chocolate is going all over the room. Hands are best, just keep washing them. So again, just giving that a quick wash, wash, wash. Dun, dun, dun. And back. So I'm bringing these back just to show. So we have got our little raspberry dip, we've got our plain, and out comes the gold. Now this is so blooming expensive that even a little bit will go such a long way. And in order to attach it, I'll put a tiny bit of water. You can use glucose, you could even use melted butter. I am just putting a tiny little water on the chocolate. And then I'm just going to push up against. And you have got a tiny bit of water again. And then you've got your white chocolate. And looking at our chocolate again, just give it a stir, stir, stir. It's already beginning to set. Look at that now. It's already beginning to set. And the very last thing, give that maybe about a 10 seconds. So we have got our little tart, bringing that, actually I'll put it on a plate so you will see it in its glory. We're nearly there. So that, with our little homemade bars, using a silicone mold, amazing for kids, fabulous for using up any little bits of chocolate. Using up chocolate? Who in their right mind uses up chocolate? But when you melt any little bit of chocolate that you have left over, because these silicone mats are fabulous, out they pop and you've got your homemade mini chocolate bar. Chocolate, 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 chocolate. So I still have my melted chocolate. Stay with me lads, stay with me lads. We're at the home front, we're nearly there. So we have got our glossy tarts. You can see those beautiful, shiny, shiny, glossy chocolate tarts. And next we're moving on to, for those who don't want to have the full chocolate, what's lovely are strawberries. So when you're dipping your strawberries, one of the things I find is that to prepare your strawberries in advance. So we have got some strawberries that I've prepared, again with some gold leaf and a ziggy with white chocolate and some gold leaf, and I have used some of Vera's freeze-dried, sprinkled on some fresh white chocolate also. When you're preparing your strawberries, the first thing obviously you're going to do is you're going to wash them. But if you put them into, which I know sounds a bit bizarre, but it is a bath of water and vinegar. I'll send up the, on the recipe, I'll give you a little quantities in relation to the water bath. Because then you're going to get rid of all the sort of the bugs or microbacterial bits and pieces on your strawberries. And then you're going to take them out, you're going to pat them and you're going to let them air dry. One of the things that a lot of people do feel is that they need to chill their strawberries and then they take them out of the fridge and they dip them in the chocolate. The problem is the strawberry itself will form a condensation skin around the strawberry. So when you dip the chocolate, you'll find 15-20 minutes you could nearly slide off the chocolate off the strawberry and they won't keep. So all I'm doing is I'm dipping my prepared clean strawberries . Give it a shake, 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 shake. And it is important as well to have the stem on because it makes it much easier to pick up. Now let's confuse people even more and put a sprinkling of raspberry on the strawberry. But again, this is where you say, hey, let's put freeze-dried strawberries on the strawberry. But I didn't have freeze-dried strawberries available because I wasn't organized enough to get them from Vera. So we have another strawberry, in they go. And you can do a ziggy, 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 a ziggy, ziggy, ziggy with white chocolate, a contrasting chocolate. And again, all I'm doing, this is great for kids and they're fabulous for snacks And if you use them for dark chocolate, even better again. Do one more for the road. And in goes our beautiful strawberry. Come here, lads. What I wouldn't do with these strawberries. So romantic for Valentine. Give it a tap, 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 tap. And down that goes. And we can put some gold leaf on that in a minute. Our strawberries to the side. And the last thing is my little knife, which I forgot. So when you have, where's my strawberry? What should I do with my strawberries? Oh, they're there. Lots. So for kids to do, you have got a little heart-shaped strawberry. So all I'm going to do is take a slice of my strawberry, and I'm just going to take a little V out of the top, make it a little bit more defined just to get the shape right. And then I just take a little nib off the top. And you've got a little love heart with your strawberry, which is kind of sweet. And I'll put that in the little chocolate tart with my little gold leaf. So we have had amazing Irish suppliers. We've got Audrey and stuff for cakes for her delicious gold leaf. We have Vera and her amazing dried fruit. Check out her website. And we have got Kira with the chocolate. We have got Peter Dunn of BakeWorld with the chocolate. Peter Dunn with our cocoa powder. We have a kitchen full of chocolate and nuts. We have made the most divine, gorgeous, delicious chocolate truffles as easy as. And we have set that ganache in the fridge to chill. But we have also poured it into a prepared chocolate short crust pastry shell and decorated with chocolate and fruit and gold leaf because we're fierce posh here in Cork. Lads, ladies, gents, boys, girls, that was a marathon one today. Thank you so much for watching. And I do have good news. I have amazing, exciting news. I thought I'd be able to say to you today, please keep an eye this week on Facebook. I will announce. I just can't announce. I'm that close. I can't announce today. So please bear with me. And I shall have great news during the week. And I shall talk to you next Sunday.